Welcome to the Houston Hustle, the podcast that spotlights the movers, the makers, and the doers shaping the city we love. Each week, we sit down with Houston's top entrepreneurs to talk who they are, how they built it, the principles that drive them, and what success means beyond the highlight reel. This is Real Hustle, Real Stories, Real Houston. Welcome to the Houston Hustle. I'm Dr. Paige Ward.
And I'm Dr. Charlie Ward.
And today we have our guest, Sammy Mongonia, owner of Sammy's Muay Thai.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
I been doing Muay Thai for about 20 years. Actually, this year is going to be the year that I've actually in my life. I'll be 40 this year, so this would be a year that I actually done Muay Thai longer in my life than I've done without Muay Thai. So that's
cool. That's a big milestone.
It is.
That's cool.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Yeah.
What got you into Muay Thai?
To be honest with you, my dad passed away. My parents were missionaries when I was younger. So between 1 and 3, I grew up in Thailand. So there was a lot of Thai culture in my life growing up. Parents came back and there was always that dream to go back. And then that was one of those things where it just never happened. But later on, when my dad passed away, it was one of those deals where the Thai culture had been tied up in my family, and my brother started doing Muay Thai. So then that was something for us to like basically hang out with and to do. And then never really planned on really competing. Then I fought once and told myself I'd never do it again. And then that was 65.
Wait, so why did you tell yourself you'd never do it again?
If you've ever fought, is the worst feeling ever. Like literally went up in went in the bathroom, threw up everywhere. Like your emotions.
It's like your Eminem song.
Everything just like, yeah. And then I just fought more after that. Yeah.
This is like a stress response, basically.
That's freaking, your whole body, your mind, your body, everything's in that ring. Everything. Well, at least it should. If you're going to win, everything should be in there. If it's not, that's how you lose, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you just decided to keep doing it, though.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I did.
You liked it? Okay, so for the listeners, not everyone knows what Muay Thai is. Mm-hmm. So what is it?
It is the art of 8 limbs. Some people wonder what that is. Most people do Muay Thai, and some don't even know what that is. But it's a martial art that we use. It's a very hard impact martial art. So about that, you have some other types of martial arts that are like a softer, more gentle martial art, more of the chi kind of style stuff. I feel like personally, correct me wrong on this, people, but it is more of the caveman style. And what that is, like, it's punch, kick, and elbow. So art 8 limbs is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we use all those in the game that we play. It's probably one of the more brutal sports out there, but the key word there is sport. Yeah. So some people want to, shoot what you did. It's not that serious, bro. You need to be able to flip that switch on, do what you need to do in there, and then flip it right back off too as well. So
absolutely, very cool. So
it's not a type of noodle though, right?
It is not. It is not a type of noodle.
Okay, so was business owning always the goal?
No. My parents are entrepreneurs, and so I did not. I never went without. Okay, mm-hmm. But looking back, I went without on certain things, but that's fine. Made me who I am today. But my parents were entrepreneurs, and I kind of went without a lot of things. And I promised myself when I got older that I'd work a full-time job, and I would do that job so that I could provide for my family, and that's it. End of story. I think a lot of kids these days think that they're gonna find this dream job and they're going to do this and they're going to love what they do. And like, even right now, I do Muay Thai and that's what my life's been really revolved around. And even there's certain days I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. Everyone's going to do that because it's your job, you know what I mean? So, but I had the mindset because I wasn't educated, that you do a job that you hate so that you can do the things that you love. And I think a lot of kids really miss out on that. I'm not saying that that's got to be you, but sometimes it's got to be that. But we're in America. Everything's going to cost you time and money. Yeah. It's whether it's going to be education, cost you time and money. Okay. Or, if you get under someone like I did and kind of learn like hydraulics and things like that, it's going to cost you time. You know what I mean? So, and you may not get the money that you're wanting or feel like you deserve, but at the same time, like I was trying to just pay my bills. Yeah. And then fight afterwards. That was literally my goal for the rest of my life, basically. Yeah.
Very cool. So what made you decide to go into this then? Because you said you were like, I'm just going to get a job and do this.
Yes. So depression.
Really?
Yep. Like I said, all my stuff was in one tank, and my dad was, my dad would work, and then be on the couch for 2, 3 days. I never understood that growing up. And I would be like, what, why is he like that? And as I got older, it's genetically in us. You can try to avoid certain things, and you guys have kids and you see stuff, you're like, God, and or you did something and you're like, my parents,
That's just like my dad.
yeah. So and as I got older, I would go, and I would just I would call in sick that day, and I would just lay there in bed. And one day I was like, oh. And my dad, and that's a whole nother one we can actually come back to. It's gonna be a long story, but my dad was either killed by the mafia or he was or he OD'd. So that's a whole nother story. Yeah, so I've never talked about that story to you. So but like I said, it was depression. COVID was in the house. Okay. It was 2020 when we moved on this side of town. I was teaching downtown at another place, working full time at another place. My daughter lived in Tomball. So I'm driving 3 hours a day trying to make things work. And then at that point, I was like, I can't fight anymore. So I just kind of started teaching one time there. And so we have a garage, and it had mats in there. And so, me and my wife train. So like, whether it's we're training other people or we're training each other, that's what we do, So we're training, and next thing you know, I got 10 people in my garage. And I was like, all right. And and everyone was like, you need to open your own place. And then a lot of people found out we were in the area. So they started contacting me. Hey, you want to teach at my gym? And I was at the same gym for 15 years. So it's one of those deals where I didn't really want to break away from them and that relationship we had. But at the same time, I can't feed my family doing that.
Absolutely.
So, working under someone else anyways. COVID got in the house. I could not go to work I was essential, could not go to work. And I had to take that test. They were basically 15 days. You take a test, and then you did all the spiel and whatever. And I was supposed to go back to work, and I had to take another test to show and then it was positive.
Oh my
So I'm 30 days out of work, just depressed, freaking going through stuff. And Mark Beecher, he is the owner of Hyena Muay Thai, contacted me, and he's like, he was one of my coaches for about 40 of my fights. And he was like, hey man, I just texted him. I was like, and everyone's got to have that one person. If you don't, it's kind of a bad place to be. And I really don't, because I am more of a leader, and I do keep to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But you do got to have that one person. I just texted him. I was like, bro, I'm not doing good. And he was like, what's up? I was like, man, I'm going through it right now. And he was like, man, you should open your own gym. And I was like, yeah, no. And he's like, come talk to me. Come out to the gym, which is in Katy. It's a good little strip between here and there. He's like, hey, come talk to me. And I was like, there's COVID in the house. He's like, bro, everyone has COVID. Don't worry about it. Showed up there, talked to him, and he's like, look, man, you've coached most of your career. You have the fighting experience. He's like, all these Joe Schmoes out here opening gyms and doing all this stuff, feeding their families, and they haven't even put the time and the effort in that you have. Yeah. Whether have been building it for that or not, you can't tell you anything. You've fought, but you don't have to be a great fighter to be a good coach. Right. Or you don't have to be and you can just be a good coach without being a good fighter. Some people break it down differently in their head. You can tell someone what to do, but not be able to acclimate it in the ring. Very two different things. So he was like, you've done both, and you've done well for yourself. He's like, and your wife and everyone else. He's like, open your own gym. So I'm like, I was on my way home, freaking found me an app. I came home to my wife and I was like, hey babe, Mark said I should open my gym. She was like, no. And she worked full time, her job for another, she was there for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And I was at mine for 15, and she was like, no. And I was like, babe, I don't have an option. I was like, I either stay where I'm at and just be depressed and live this life for the rest of my life, or I do something. And I was like, babe, the one thing you do know about me is I will outwork anyone at any time, at any place. You know that, babe. And I do not fail when I put my heart to it. She was like, I know that. And she was like, if that's what you want to do, then do it. She's like, I'm not going to quit my job, obviously. And I was like, yeah, I know. She's a very Mexican, independent woman in her life. And so we started going on. I got these little apps. I don't know anything about I'm artsy, but I don't know how to things to
Right.
yeah.
And then
Well, I got the branding and know how I got my things in my head, but I didn't know where to like start. And I was like, I sent him like this picture of this candy skull and like, and Mark, I sent it to Mark and he's like, yeah, no. I was like, all right. So he was like, I'll put something together. I got class right now. So he put something together for me and then he sent it to me and I was like, oh, it's like, change the color to this. And then he was like, change the color. I was like, well, move this. And then he was like, boom. And then next thing I know, I'm looking at this logo and I'm like, oh, this is happening. Like it's happening. Like right then and there, I knew it was happening. So I just made an Instagram and just stuck it out there. And everyone's like, what is this? Didn't reply. What is this? What's going on? Don't say nothing. Post something. Didn't say nothing. People were just like, so I started creating like a lot of attraction. And
investors.
Yeah. Well, the strategy, you're just kind of just testing it. Throw it out there. What is that? Are you opening your gym? Just nothing. So I created that little like, and then we started looking around. Then I had people contact me, other fighters coming out saying, like, hey, where's your gym at? I was like, yeah, I don't have one.
Which is good.
So, yeah, so just kind of like testing the water here. So kind of, I guess you'd say it worked out.
The logo is awesome, by the way. Yeah, it looks really good.
Sometimes I shave off my mustache and people are like false advertisement.
The mustache is epic. My iron can pull it off, but it's good. I like it. I had so many questions for you. It's really interesting how many businesses actually formed during COVID. Because I feel like the general rhetoric is like everything fell apart. But if you look at statistics, there are a lot of businesses that formed during that time.
I think too, I could be completely wrong on this, but a lot of the US, I feel like, and I've helped run shops and do little things, okay? A lot of the places I think in the US, like just history of life, the history is paying someone to stand over someone to make sure they're doing their job correctly.
Right.
And a lot of the outside, like, different countries in Europe and stuff like that, they're okay with, getting longer lunch breaks. They're okay with knowing as long as you get your job done, that's all that matters. Because really at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Really matters, yeah.
And if you have a happy employee, they're going to go the extension of getting things done, So I feel like they did cut out a lot of people working from home. Like, oh, I don't have to pay rent anymore.
Yes.
Or I don't have to pay someone to stand over you, or those types of things. So I think it really opened a lot of the US's eyes in a lot of places because we have 11 a.m. class. That's not a thing when I was coming up.
Oh, no.
And to have 40 people in an 11 a.m. class is not a thing.
Right.
But now because of COVID and all that stuff, people working from home, they're a little more freer. Maybe they got a 2-hour, 3-hour lunch break where they can kind of, these days I'm going to work out or I'm going to work a little longer these days and just making things happen. But at the end of the day, that's really what work's about is making sure that you have things done. As U.S. people in the U.S., I didn't learn a lot, so I was traveling, but they always say outside of the U.S. is they work to live. And here in the States, we live to work.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And that's a lot of people, from other countries who are like, oh, well, fuck, you guys have so much. Yeah, because we work a third of our life away.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's nothing wrong with it. It depends on the things you want in life. Like, do you want to freaking have nice cars and have a nice home? Or do you want a more simpler life with less things? Like, that's where you have to figure out what happiness looks like.
Absolutely. And what you're working for too, you're not sacrificing that.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of is it's interesting whenever I talk to people whose parents were entrepreneurs and you have they either seem to go one of two mindsets. They're like, this is what I want to do, or they're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And it seems like that was your initial thought process. You were like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a solid job and all of that. Mm-hmm. And then of course we have this mind change now where we're own our own business. Do you feel like you have any lingering mindset or headspace stuck with that or no?
So my whole life, I've always had lower end jobs. So I remember that, not a lower end job, but I'm a blue collar. My hands are in there, I'm wrenches, I'm greased up on all day long. Okay. I have always had some other type of business. When I was little, I sold pecans. We had pear trees, pecan trees. I always had some type of little something.
That little side hustle.
Always something. And even when I worked full time, I had plastic dip was a popular thing. And I was plastic dipping cars I'm not a mechanic, but I have a 1960 F100 with 390 big block in it. I also have a 1954 with a 312 in it. So I do almost all of my own stuff. So I would do little side jobs. I would have people meet us at my gym, classy dip someone's wheels and their emblems, then go back in there and train and go and hit pads. I'd earn $80, $50, $60, $100 for a little deal, make a little side money, and then that's how I pay my bills. But I literally could not pay my bills by just doing what I did. So I always had something, always just kind of not swallowing people, but I would.
You always had the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, and but I had a backup. So well, I would always just kind of put that to the side. And if I wanted parts on a car, or I wanted something more, or my kids wanted something, I have a little something saved up. You know?
That is so cool.
So that never went away. It never went away.
Right.
Worked a full-time job.
Absolutely. So, go ahead.
The gym started pretty small, like 10 people in your garage. How's it grown? What's it like for you these days?
I'm losing my mind. No, it's definitely not what I expected it to be. Whatever that is, like a lot of people are like, "Oh man, your first year, like how's that? You trying to make even now?" I'm like, we were on a 2-year plan. Okay, I pulled a loan out for my. We were on a 2-year plan. Pulled out a loan for my 401k. Because we had some other stuff going on that I need to pay for, and pulled that at the same time. And my biggest deal is a lot of fighters don't have credit. They don't have a 401k. They don't have things to pull and things like that. My entire life, I started to build my credit when I was 17 years old, because my whole life, and it's funny because I literally just thought about this a few months ago. My whole life, I've literally worked as hard as I can so that I don't have to work my whole life.
I like it.
And I remember we were leaving church actually, and I was leaving and I was looking at myself and I was like, that feeling that I knew I would feel one day is like now.
It's starting to come.
It's like now. And I was like, I never thought I'd feel that. And don't get me wrong, I work long hours. Yeah. I mean, you can text me all day long and I literally probably by the time we get done, I'll probably have 40 texts on my cell phone, and I will literally text everyone else.
Everybody back.
Yep. That's part of running a business, and a successful business is being personal with people.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that. Luckily, my hobby, my mindset, and how I can feed my family are all very similarly aligned. The very first kind of story of when I opened up the gym, I went and we did like we built that little up in Instagram and started following us, and I kind of did a little bit of a move that probably a little bit frowned upon. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you anyways. I went and found all the gyms in the area and started following people, and followed a ton of people, and people are like, "Who's this? Oh, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna follow back." Delete.
Follow, unfollow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I did that. Yeah. But we did that, and we started having people start really kind of following, keeping up with because my thing is, like, it was downtown. I didn't know like everything I've ever worked for was going to follow me out here.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to do private lessons and not really try to make money off of that, or really try to open a gym, but it started turning out into that. And then we just kind of different fighters and different stuff, and it just kind of built. But we've went from the very first day we opened, I literally had 40 papers, and I was like, I just flash dropped it. I was like, hey, we're open today in this hours. The first 40 papers, no matter you've had a membership for 1 year or you've had it for the next 10 years, it's going to be $100. I needed that 40 people to be able to pay those bills and to make sure that everything was taken care of. The very first day we opened, I walked in, I opened opened up the door, and I hear all like parking lots full, and people I turn around, I just look, and people are just walking in. They didn't want nothing sold to them. They just wanted a paper, and they wanted that first sign up. We've been opening up for 5 years, and we have still some people that are still signed up from that. Some of those guys are even teaching in my gym now. Okay. So those guys walked in, handed all the papers, walked in the bathroom, and literally looked at a mirror and just like, oh, this is happening. Started crying right there. I was like, oh, this is actually happening.
Oh, this was so cool.
And then after, I was on a 2-year plan. I was telling you that earlier. Yeah. A 2-year plan to make it happen. We did it in 2 months. And it was that was at the time where I was like, okay, am I going to still try to work this job, or really do I need to just go after this? And I was like, so I went to my work, and I'm pretty respectful when it comes to things. I talk to them, say, I want to open a gym, these types of things. I say, look, I'll teach. I told my guys that worked under me, because there'd be times that I had to do stuff that were out of my ranking basically, but they would have to, and then they want to do mine. That's why I'm like, this is what I'm going to tell everyone. Okay. Do my job till it's yours. Just like I'm going to do my boss's job till it's mine. And so I was like, so I had no problem teaching them what I did.
Right.
Not to make my life simpler, but things need to get done. Okay?
Yeah.
When they look at the numbers at the end of the month. And so look, I was teaching those guys. And then one day I was just, I went and talked to my boss, and he was like, I was like, I'll either two things. Okay. Either A, I'll stay here as long as you want me to be. I will teach these guys, stay on payroll. I have to be off at these certain times to be able to teach classes. But I'll be text away, call away if they need anything. And I was like, and I'll stay here as long as you want, or I can put in 2-week notice. It's up to you. I do not care which one it is. I want to focus on this, but if I can help the guys, they're feeding their families. They can't just up and leave. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, when I left, so I still talk to a lot of those guys actually that worked for a long time, and help them get to where they need to go. And, I left, so they get paid a little bit more, all those types of things. Like, hey, ask them for a little bit more. It's just that simple, So they're all taking care of each other at that company, and I'm super proud of those guys too as well, But moving forward, we took on my wife this last year. She got a furlough. Is it furlough? No.
Mm-hmm.
And she came to me and was like kind of crying, and she was like, "They let me go." And I was like, "That's great." I was like, "Thank God." I was like, I literally was at a point where I was like, I have to bring someone in.
Yeah.
And I would not want to bring anyone because A, she knows the sport.
Yeah.
She knows how to talk to people. She knows, like, she's very upfront. Like, she's probably more upfront than me, to be honest with you. But because I'll sugarcoat some things. She's like, no.
That's nice.
So she's definitely a good backbone for me for sure. But we got to take her on full time, and it's been amazing. My daughter works for us now.
Oh my gosh.
She teaches for a kids class. She's 12. So we go from a 5 to 11 in the kids class. And then after 12, they kind of jump into my class.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, babe, on her birthday, we took her down, got her first little bank account, got her a little card, and was like, you can come in and do class. You don't know anything about anything. Okay. And I tell my coaches this all day long.
Yeah.
Like, you need to constantly be growing. If you're not growing, you're going to die. It's that
I
simple.
love it.
In life.
Yeah.
And same thing for businesses. You're not going to sit there one day and be like, oh, my business is this. And all of a sudden you wake up and everything's gone. You got to constantly, and then we can talk about too, moving to a bigger location. We had a small location.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's double the size. We need a bigger one now, but I'm not going to because I'm losing my mind now. But I got the little entrepreneur, my daughter. She gets a little check. She gets a cash, a little check. She has her little bank account. And I told her, I said, baby, you're 12 years old. I'm never going to tell you this again. Okay. Save your money and spend mommy and daddy's. Never again will I say that. So she's definitely took advantage of that and stacking her little paycheck. So it's cool to kind of see the kids being able to go into that. She can hold pads and do stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
That's really cool. I love that. I also like your idea on growth too, because I fully agree with you. You don't want to be the same person like you were a year ago or even a month ago. I feel like it should be constantly elevating and changing. Otherwise, you get comfortable and then things go.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. 100%. Yep.
Did you have a question? Okay. So I have a question for you. What was a moment for you in your business that made it feel like it was all worth it?
I would say, my biggest deals in life is I know guys that make like millions of dollars,
mm-hmm.
but they spend millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So they're poor.
Mm-hmm.
They might have nice things, right? And to my life, I don't want to work till I'm dead. And that is literally, everyone's going to wait till hopefully they make it to 65 and get into retirement or something. I don't want to be that person. I worked my entire life not to be that person. Now you might be able to disguise that something like, if you ask me right now, I'm technically retired in life, but because I've taught full time, worked full time and fought. So I don't know anything different. Now I'm just teaching and having guys competing, Yeah. So we have over 20 some guys competing between now and the end of February. So I'm constantly, and I'm a very hands-on coach. I'm very in there holding pads, working with the guys, sparring with the guys, those types of things. Can't be that person forever, but a moment that I kind of was like, I guess probably bringing on my wife, to be honest with you. That's a proud moment, being able to
Did that feel like divine timing though? Because like you said, you were looking for someone to bring on and then.
No, 100%. 100%. And they gave her like a 6-month little deal to be able to So we were like, okay, we're going to save your 6 months of pay or you're going to stack or whatever. And my wife is a very independent woman, and sometimes people can't work together being husband and wife. Don't get mad at me. I'm going to literally sit down, and the one thing about working together was she's an independent woman. Yeah. She's worked at a job for 17 years. And when I quit my job, I was like, God, time. When she had to quit hers, it was like, she was like mourning. And I had no clue what that meant. Like, not even a little bit. It's the complete opposite of what we both did. And she was mourning her job. She woke up in the morning. She's, she worked from home though, but she had these routines of things. Yeah. Gets a paycheck. Like, well, when we first started dating, it was, I paid one time, she paid one time, and it was always like
back and forth.
Yeah. And so that's kind of been a lot of our life. And whenever we took her on full time, we had to figure out how to make that work. And it was a communication. That's it.
Yeah.
We could have pissed at each other and just been separate ways and be like, no, freaking go get another job. Like, and, we had to figure out how to word things and understand each other. And it's been good ever since. The one thing, we sit down, and she started working for the business, and there was a little bit of a like chip on her shoulder of like, oh, I'm working for you.
Yeah, like a pride thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I was sitting there, we were talking, and I was like, all right, babe. Like, and it wasn't that we were having an attitude with each other, but it was just me personally, I'm a very like, make things happen. Don't wait later on. If this is here, this is broke, fix it now. Yeah. Like, stop what you're doing, fix what it is, and then you have to deal with it later. So it doesn't all the way go through. Right. It's been years of just working jobs with mechanical stuff. You don't fix it now, it's going to break something down the line, So I'm always like, and so her, it's a little bit different mindset. Men's mindset and women's are kind of a little bit different sometimes. Mm-hmm. Guys are very much like, if it's broke, fix it. Mm-hmm. Girls are, okay, how can we fix it? Should we do it this way? Should it be better to...
More analytical.
Yeah, and like us, we don't care. We're just getting a wrench, and it might just put a Band-Aid on something. But
okay.
We're making it happen. So we had to sit down, and it was, I don't know if it was, I don't know, my mindset, God, I don't know, but it just came in right then and there. I was like, babe, I don't care which one you do. You can be a stay-at-home mom if you want, okay? But you're gonna have on my bank account, that means if you need to spend something, you need to ask me when, how, where. Okay? I knew that wasn't an option for her. Or you go get a job, and so you can be your independent woman, or we're going to cut you a paycheck just like everyone else. Okay? And you just work what you need to be doing. It's just that simple. And I was like, so either A, go get your own job, B, you stay at home mom, or you get a paycheck. It's just that simple. And she was like, it would be dumb if I went and worked somewhere else. I was like, okay. She's like, no, it would. And like, we still occasionally like, but she's finding her place in there. But to me, mourning her job, I was like, I don't understand.
It's hard for you to relate to.
Yeah, not at all. I don't even get it. But like, for her, I had to step back as a man and like step back and be like, okay, she needs a little bit of time to acclimate to these things.
Absolutely.
So it was a growing point for both of us. And me and my wife, she's very good about, if we have a conversation and it's like, this is not uplifting to me or her or the family or the gym, it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
It's that simple, thank God she's not a person that's going to ride that crap to the ground. Like, she's going to literally like, okay, I'm writing this, or you're writing this, or I'm writing this, let's make it work together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she's been good about that. We're still growing as a business.
That's awesome.
I never really wanted to have people under me, but now I got guys that work for me full time, supporting their families, things like that. And my coaches are, they don't have a lot of experience like in the fighting world, but they have my experience. Yeah. And so I tell them, I teach them a certain way, and I let them figure things out. Like, it's this way. He said, why I do the things that I teach them two aspects. I've either hit you with it, or I've been hit with it, but I know they both work.
Very, very cool. What was a moment that you felt like was, because, like, you created this Instagram page, just got a lot of followers and all these things, and people see all the highlight reels, but what was a moment in business where you were like, had a stressful moment or was hard and people don't know?
Sometimes I wish I didn't have this gift of just want to be personal.
Yeah.
And like, if someone's like, my thing is like, everyone needs, you wake up and decide to be the person you want to be today.
Yeah.
Okay. We all have little inside things, but we all self-destruct when you wake up in the morning. Okay. Some people look to other things, they might need a coffee when they wake up. They need to, they might need to do all different types of whatever to be that person. But like, it's up to you to be a freaking D-bag or to uplift the person in front of you. And my biggest deal, and I think it's because I've had a whole lot of life, is like, try to uplift the person that's around me. And like, sometimes I almost feel like a challenge if you don't like me. Like, oh, not that I'm going to force myself to
get a people pleaser.
I used to be a little bit, but I'm more, now that I've had the gym and things open, I'm very big on, you don't have to be that person. Okay. I've had conversations with people and be like, you wake up to be that person. No, I trust people, so I can't trust them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's really the opposite of how most people are. It's usually, I'm not going to trust you till you prove that you're
self-trustworthy.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases that can be, but once you step across the line with me, I just don't, it's really hard for me to come back.
Yeah.
Trust everyone until I don't anymore. And then it's hard for me to snap back. And then I'll start just telling that, like, if you do snap back from it, it's literally a couple of people out there. But what I was getting at was, we have a certain atmosphere in the gym. Okay. If you do not get in the atmosphere, like, you're not trying to help out the next person or trying to help the team be better. The biggest problem with a lot of fighters is that they're the best guy in their gym. I freaking have a lot of experience in what I do, and I can't even survive in my own gym. Okay. Because I tell guys, we do rules meetings and different things, and we have soccer moms to pro fighters in our gym. Yeah. Okay. To my 7-year-old in their training. There's no reason you should be bombing on some person. Or if you live there and everyone's hitting you really hard, it's probably because you were one swinging hard. Anyways, what I was getting at was I've went out on a limb and have lost sleep because of people just being these people, and they're taking my gym down. Like, literally, one person can literally, have you ever heard the term poison the well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That is, I literally have heard that my whole life, and literally the last few years has really figured that out. There's a few people that come in, and they've had some other recent ones and had people from other past, and I'm just quick to be like, yeah, we don't need you anymore.
Absolutely. I think protecting that space.
And I didn't realize that until really a few years into opening up the gym. Like, my job, not my job, but I feel like my calling is to really kind of just help people.
Yeah.
Now that's a gift and a bad thing. Okay. Yeah. I say this because my dad was a very giving person, loved helping people, but it would always be, not always, but it would be at the extent of my family sometimes. Yeah. We grew up poor. We'd have tickets. Maybe somebody gave us tickets to the zoo or something. I'm stoked about going to the zoo, and something happened. Someone's car broke down. My dad helped. Oh, don't take a second. Next thing, it's the rest of the day. Didn't get to go do what we wanted to do. And it's not that my dad maliciously did that.
Right. It's just because he wanted to help people.
But we paid for it. So now there's times where I'm like, I'm either I'm going to be doing privates or making money for my family. Yeah. Or I'm going to be working out. If it's going to pull me away from my family, I need to be feeding my family. Yeah. Or helping my business grow or something of that nature. I am blessed though, because my kids are in the gym. My wife is in the gym, so there's not a big separation.
Right. You guys are around each other.
And this happens, that's the hard part for me sometimes, is like letting people go.
Yeah. No, I think in the beginning, whenever you open a business, there's like that, like, I need to make money. I need to make the bottom line. So you're just like, everybody's welcome, right? But I do think, especially as you grow as a person and as a business, protecting your energy is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Like at our office, we do like shift huddles, and we are always asking, like, what's your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10? Because we do believe, you want to bring that positivity no matter what your stuff is going on in your personal life. You have to uplift others. You have to be there and bring that, because you attract the energy you put out. Mm-hmm. But also, I think it's so important to protect that space. So if somebody is like low vibe and bringing you down, just wanting to soak in the suffering, it is okay to cut that bond and be like, hey, this isn't worth my energy. It's not worth my time and what it does to this whole environment. Yep. So
no, I've never had anyone ever say that to me. Mm-hmm. And that is something I've learned over the years. Yeah. Like, it has to be, and I'll bounce it off of my wife. I'll be like, hey, how do you feel about, she's like, and you can ask her, she was talking about some, a situation before, and she was like, yeah, when he's done, he's done. Like, she was talking to someone like, when he's done, it's over. Like, it's hard to come back from that. You can, but like, I'm not going to freaking put my arms out for you at all. Right. And it sounds horrible, but like, I could either be helping and the problem is if I'm helping a person that can't help themselves,
Right.
all these other people that want to be helped, I start concentrating here when I really should be here.
Absolutely.
And we've had tournaments and stuff where we've had 50 plus people fight. I cannot.
Lot.
And we're half the freaking little tournament.
Yeah.
So if you two don't like each other and you are going to have to warm up her and y'all don't like each other, guess what? I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to warm you guys up because you don't like each other.
Right.
That's on you. I've even had like in fighters class, a few people didn't like each other and they're working bags. I'm like, guess what? You're getting the sorriest work today because you don't like each other. And I'll point it out in front of them. You either suck it up and freaking get good working or you just get your BS working. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We try to instill that into our kids too. Just like protect your energy and always just be the positive influence. You know, like our daughter, she plays soccer. It's competitive. But we're always like, hey, you want to be that person who's bringing that positivity and that vibe. And it's good because I hear that from her coaches. Like she's really positive. She's really uplifting. But yeah, you can't have people. There's some people who don't want to help themselves. They want to just sit there and, like I said, soak in the suffering. And so we always say, like, what are you bringing me solutions or are you bringing me problems? Because if you're only talking about your problems, that's not going to help because everybody's got problems and we can always have a contest for who has the worst life because we all have stuff, but like bring me the solutions. And that's definitely a better vibe.
No, I 100%, like 110% agree with that. I feel like if you're striving to kind of better yourself every day, you kind of lose that old person in the past if that's the case. And don't get me wrong, everyone's got stuff they're going through.
Oh, absolutely.
We just sit there, but it's up to you to pick up that baggage and try to be the next person that you want to be. And you may not be able to do it for yourself. But if you got kids, and you can't do it for your kids, like I don't understand that.
I do not
understand that at all.
I think that having kids fundamentally changes you. You realize like, hey, these are why I have to grow. I cannot continue because you will see those behaviors, even your poor behaviors reflected back in your children. So you like constantly working on yourself for them as well as for yourself and others, right? So I 100% agree with you.
We have a men's group that our gym that we do is called Punch Out. And is when we call it Punch Out for two reasons. It's a clock out. So you punch out of life, and then we punch each other. But some of the guys train, some guys don't. Some guys are from other gyms, some guys don't have memberships. But we come in, we got anywhere between 15 to 30 guys sometimes in the ring, sit down, turn a light, do a verse for the week, and then we just kind of sit and talk. Some people are just going through stuff, and you never know. People go through the entire day and they may not have a friend to talk to and just need to spit something out, or they need someone that's not their wife, not their kids, not something that they could just, and not only just get not my feelings, but get like, you get anywhere from 18-year-olds that just kind of started to guys in their 50s that have, been married, divorced, started life 3 times,
Right.
You got an 18-year-old that comes in and is like, man, life's hard. I was like, you have kids? I don't have time for anything. Do you have kids?
You have time. You realize how much time you have until you have kids.
Yeah. But what I was getting at was I'll tell the guys this, and this has been an epiphany for myself is, the biggest thing of what people do in the U.S. is, and really just in the world is they tell their kids not to do something, but then they do their own. And my biggest thing and you guys have a little boy and a little girl, and I literally look at my kids, and this is why I'm so hard on myself, is I'm hard on myself, okay? Is I literally tell my guys this. I want to be the man that I want my son to be one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? I want to be the man that I want my daughter to marry one day. If I'm that person, I'll always be able to say something to her, and she'll know the difference between what is right and what is wrong. Okay. Same thing for my son.
Yeah.
I've been in camp and he's been in camp, and we were in camp literally at the same time for a fight. And he's 7 years old. We're running, and he was whining. I was like, hey bro, do you see any other parents out here running with their kids? He's like, no. I was like, do you see anyone else? Do you see any other parents holding pads and doing all these things for the kids? Well, no. I'm like,
yeah,
let's run.
I love it.
So that's one of my biggest things. Like, we're in a business. I've realized this last year I'm more of a mentor to a lot of people, even though I'd rather not be that person, but
you're called to that
person. So I've really kind of stepped in those shoes the last year and just talk to people when you need to be talked to. Because my biggest deal is like, some people, we call the gym it's pretty much a lighthouse. You know what I mean? But that is like, everyone's going through something, and like, never going to push my beliefs on people, but like, I do have my boundaries and how I am as a person. And there's a certain reason why I am that person.
Yeah.
And I've had other gyms contact me about, how do you go this and that? Like, I mean, it really comes down to it. Like, you're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
That's really like, unless you're going this path, you know what I mean? My biggest deal is like, from the ground up, we do everything that comes to the gym. We do, and I don't really talk about that too much, but I'm proud to be able to say that is like 10% that ever comes through there. It goes to like missions and other things that we do. And I don't really talk about that because people are always like, "Oh, well, tell me where it's none of your business."
It doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? So, and I think I don't believe in like having to give so that you get plus back, but I do believe in just giving.
Yes, I really heard a phrase recently. I wish every time I go to tell it, I always forget the exact part of it. But really, it's just the more people you help, like the more that will come back to you. Yeah. And absolutely, and the energy you put out too. Like we were talking about, I think that probably draws people to you. You might have a spiritual gift or just like reaching out to people. But mindset is a huge thing, and I think that a lot of people miss that, and even in our culture, like we're talking about, and those things, like I hate to be like this, but I mean, we are Christians too, but like I do believe that there's just something about going out there with that positivity, and it just comes right back. And there was a story I was going with this, and I'm totally forgetting what it was, but I have noticed that like for us, working on our mindset has changed so much in our lives, and just focusing on that positive aspect and helping people and making sure that no matter where we are in our day, we are bringing that energy up and focusing on improving ourselves.
I think as a business owner, you guys know, and correct me if you're wrong, but I feel like a lot of people, the more money they make, the more money they spend. And I tell my guys all the time, I'm like, yes, you want to work hard and have nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having your kids have nice things. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fine.
This Christmas actually, and one day you'll probably see this video. I'll be like, this dude. But my son is 7, and when I was growing up, I had, I never got a new bike till I was probably, 13, 14, 15, something like that. Maybe not even, I don't know, maybe sooner than that, but I always got hand-me-down bikes. And it was one of those, like, the bike's bigger than you got to want to get further, but make it work. I was still having a bike. Yeah. And I bought my son this bike, and I wanted to, I actually tracked it down, had to put it together, all kinds of whatever. And I am ecstatic about giving my son this bike. Yeah. And give him this bike, and it's too big for him because you got to grow into it. And that's the way I've always thought, like, give him a little bike that they got to grow into. He gets on it and he starts riding, and he's like, "Dad, how do I stop?" I was like, "I don't know, put your foot down on one side and just fall off of it." And he was like, okay, so we're riding, and this is Christmas morning. He goes, "Dad, I want to go on a ride. Mom, Sissy, me, we're going to ride," and we're riding. And he flipped, like we're riding, there was like a certain spot where he couldn't, and he was like, navigate. Yeah, navigate, and like had to get off and couldn't get back on it, and it was a whole frustrating thing. And my son just, "This is the worst Christmas ever." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, freaking hollering. And I was like, this dude here. And I literally was like, all right, we're going home. I literally in that moment, but it's like, we work so hard, and our kids aren't going to really see of headache, heartache that we come through with life. And that's something that, my son's 7, and most of you guys at the gym will know my kid, and everyone thinks your kid's smart, obviously, but you sit down and have a conversation with my kid. And I think it's because he's just grown up in the gym and have a conversation with the grown adults. Yeah. I literally was like, all right, let's go. And his mom's like, "No, help him back on the bike." Like, I'm not helping nothing. Matter of fact, he can stay right here. I was like, and like, I'm not losing my cool in an anger way, but I'm like, no, let's go. Like, so we get to the house, and he's like wanting to put on his, because we had to meet up so other people put his brand new shoes on. I was like, no. Anything you got for Christmas, it is the worst Christmas ever. Put it back. Until you come talk to me like a little man, like you wanted to raise your voice a second ago, that's when we can start really talking about it. As of right now, all of that stuff under the tree, that was mine. I was like, so none of it's yours anymore. So get your little raggedy shoes on and go put them back on. And so we went, and later on, and I was like, whenever you're ready to talk to me, come talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, I do not care. Amazon returns real quick. So anyways, a little bit later on, he was like, Dad, can I talk to you? And like, remind you, it's a 7-year-old. And he's like, talking to me, and he's like, telling me, he's like, I'm sorry, you know. And I was like, hey, buddy, you got to remember, like, I'm giving you everything I never had.
Yeah.
Pretty much at life right now, you got 2 of everything that I never had. And I was like, and I work super hard for that. And I was like, one day you're going to have to work hard for things. It's not going to be handed to you. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and I'm never going to let you fail. But in life, you've got to learn just freaking swim. Mm-hmm. Everything in life that you want, you got to work for that crap. Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to hand a cushion life to you, and you know, you have an opportunity to, you know, like my daughter, make money in the business that I run. Never had that opportunity. I would be ecstatic to be that person that might be able to take on my dad's business and like, and I hope my kids do it. I don't know, but the gift is there if they want to go after it, you know? But that was something this year that I really kind of learning myself is like, you know, and it's very different, little boys and little girls.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
I'm learning a lot as a dad, obviously. As a business owner, even as still a fighter, a husband, like all those types of things. I really try to challenge myself, and sometimes I lose myself a little bit in things that, you know, sometimes you may make a mistake and it might cost you everything, you know? And so I really kind of try to really take a back step on that, you know, that we're not promised tomorrow, you know what I mean?
No, those are such good values to instill. And I think just listening to you, that emotional intelligence that you're teaching your kids now, it's like such a hard thing to learn in life. So I think instilling it at a young age and learning it now is so awesome that you're doing for them. So.
I try to teach them a little bit of the money aspect. I told you I was long.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, the money stuff is important.
This was a step that I did with my son. My son broke his iPad, and he was like, we'll just get a new one. I was like,
just get a new one.
I was like, all right. I was like, no, we're not going to just get a new one. I was like, all right, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to fix it yourself if you want it. If you don't want it, then cool. Just leave it. He said, I want to fix it. I was like, okay. So we went down to like a little phone place, walked in there. I was like, the screen's broke. It won't work anymore. He said, okay. I was like, how much will it cost? And the dude's like, at the least, it'd be this price. The most would be $139. I was like, okay, that's everything good to go. He's like, yeah. So I was sitting there like, I was like, all right, cool. Hit it right back to him. It's like, let's go. And he's like, all right, you're going to work for that. Okay. So he rakes leaves, and don't get me wrong. He was little things that he was working for, but to me, I'm like, I never got paid for that.
Yeah.
So it took him 3 months.
Doing his work.
And I paid that dude in ones. And anytime we were at the house or someone wanted something done, or he would be like, whatever. And I was like, yeah, you can freaking pay him to do that crap. Like, and so he went out there in ones. What was it? A 6-year-old little kid. I imagine a 6-year-old little kid in ones, $139. And like the guy remembered me. He walked in and my son had like a whole wad of money. And like, I personally wanted him to just be like, oh, that's a lot of money. I'm just effing with freaking iPad, you know?
Right.
But he was like, nah, I've worked, I'm 3 months here. And he walked up and he went to hand the dude the money. Not only was that a wad of money, he dropped it and it went everywhere. So he picked it all up. So if that was his last reap of like, but he got to understand the value behind it. You know what I mean? So we made him work for it, and he got it done and freaking made it happen. And now he's got a screen protector on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now that your work and your passions and your family have aligned, is retirement still like on the forefront of your mind? Do you feel like,
it depends on what you look at retirement as. Okay. I will always be tinkering with something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whether it's a little side business, coaching people, doing certain things, having a gym that competes it would be a whole lot easier if I just had a little lose weight gym, punch kick, whatever. Yeah. And like close the gym. No, hey guys, bro, I'm not gonna, I was like, you better make weight. Like, oh, you waited this long, eat air and run. So there's always that something, but like now that everything, I don't really know what retirement looks like in that area. It means that retirement, does it look like my kids taking over the gym? Is it one of our coaches, Sonny, taking over the gym? Are those, I don't really know what that looks like. When I say that right now, like retirement is kind of me right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of just me like being in a mix of things and still doing stuff. I don't feel like I'll ever stop doing something.
Yeah.
I feel like if I do, I'll die.
No,
Kind of like a shark. If I stop moving, I'll die. So I don't really know what the retirement thing looks like as far as retirement. When I think of retirement, I think of like stop fighting. I'm 40. I fought 4 months ago. Put my body through all kinds of whatever, went in there, and honestly, been doing it for 20 years, and I felt the best I've ever felt.
That is
the best in shape I've ever felt.
You won that fight, yeah.
I did win that fight.
Congratulations.
I did try to take a nap in the 4th round, but whatever. We'll talk about that. But got the job done. I tell my guys this all the time. Like training with the guys, I'm like, I'm about to be 40. You're 20-something years old. You should be ashamed that I can outwork you. Because if I was 20-something, I would not be outworked by a 40-year-old person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now that I outworked you, I'm like, yeah, you like that? And I'm walking over to like, yeah. But retirement, I don't really kind of know what that looks like. But is that, I maybe leaving the U.S. and like doing something of that nature, but my kids are young. I wouldn't be able to leave the kids. And then, by the time they get older and I want to go somewhere, whatever, like my grandkids and all kinds of like, it's going to be steps to life. So I feel like like I said, right now, I feel like I'm like in a retirement world. When you say retirement, it'd be stop fighting. Retirement of life would probably be when I die, I guess. I don't know.
No, I love that. Yeah. I don't think I would ever be able to stop doing things either. I just think I would go stir crazy and die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you love what you're doing, you don't necessarily want to. So like, to me, it's different than like a retirement. It's more like what does success look like for me? And we have goals and everything for our office, but I think at some point it's just the freedom to be able to step away if you want.
Yeah.
And still be good. Like, no, you still have enough in the bank. You have enough, like, everything's going and you can go do those things that you want to be able to do, whether that's time away, whether it's travel or it's family. I don't know,
Right now for us, we have like, I've never been on never really grew up in vacations and doing this stuff.
Yeah.
My wife's family didn't have a lot of things, but they always saved to be able to go do something.
Yeah.
And I've been traveling out the U.S., but like that was
vacation.
a little something, whether it was in town or something. So my wife's been very big and still in that. And I am like, my head's in the trenches and I'm working and I'm with the kids in front of me and then I'm working. And I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
She's very good at, okay, we're stopping, we're taking vacation. Most people that own gyms or own business, they don't go on vacations because when you leave, money stops coming in. But that being said, I've surrounded myself and created people that I trust, people that I love, that are literally family, delegating into certain things that like, when I leave, I need to know the place to take care of. My goal is to get, and I will straight up just say my coaches are the highest paid coaches out there. And the reason why I do that is because the more money we make, the more things we do, the more I want them to be taken care of. And if I need to step away, like they know that they're being taken care of.
That's so cool.
I'm getting paychecks for people that I've never seen in my entire life in the martial art world. Like, it's not that they're making tons of money, but like I open opportunities and doors for them to be entrepreneurs themselves. If they're a coach and they can do private lessons, like, can you do private lessons to keep up with in my business? I'm not taking any percentage out of that. Something you might pay a fee to keep the lights on, just like everyone else should be. Okay. But I'm helping them be entrepreneurs and they ask questions. I usually will give them answers. Why I do certain things, how you treat people, like, connecting with people, creating that relationship with people, because it's personal training, you know what I mean? So I do help them run their own little businesses. And if they want to open their own gym and do something in the nature later, but I give them the headaches. I let them know what we have to be going through, it's not all jolly all the time. Like when you go home,
absolutely not.
No one's texting you and calling you. Some of the coaches are, training people and then they got fights coming up and they're not at the fights. And I'm like, you can't play coach when just you want to play coach.
Yeah.
You're a text away all the time. And I was like, if you're taking these people, if you're good enough to take these people money and train them, guess what? You're good enough to waste your whole weekend when they go to fight.
Yeah.
So I do, try to really program my guys, to be able to be those types of people. And now we're at the point where I really don't have to do that. You know, they know, like, and it's not about snitching, but, you know, doors open, left unlocked, lights are left on, like,
this isn't clean.
like, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Hey, this was left out. And it's not snitching. I'm telling them, like,
Accountability.
it's accountability. That's it. It's in
Yeah.
a group text. And I like, hey, oh, I'm sorry. That was me, or that wasn't me, or I didn't pick up after my client, or whatever. My bad, bro. And it's like, you have to. If you don't,
We definitely call it, like, it's not calling people out, it's calling them up.
yeah, no, 100%.
And elevate
yeah,
them.
100%. But yeah, it's definitely been definitely a good road. Some people have been like, oh, you know, you've accomplished a lot in 4.5 years, or you've done a coaching and you're able to do privates and do seminars and workshops and all these types of things. But people don't realize, they think that they're going to start a business and they're just going to start making money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And right out the gates, I was able to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
But what did I do this 17 years before that?
Yeah, they don't see all the background building up to it. And I feel like you just kind of hit a quantum leap. Like, you went there and then you just kind of, it was all that build up to that point, right? So absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, they think they're going to open a business and they're going to be successful. I don't know how much time we got here, but
No, you're good.
when we opened up we really grew out of our place, and luckily the place we were working with they had another martial art gym that went out of business, and they were like, hey, you should come check out this place, whatever. And I was like, okay, if the price is right, I mean, we can afford it, you know, can we make this happen? And walked in there, looked at it. I'm really good at picturing things and making things work. And my biggest thing is, I will outwork you and you. Okay. So whenever that is, if I put my hands on it, I would picture, one of my guys got me a picture of me and my son just covered in black paint. And we painted our entire gym head to toe black. And it was literally 12 hours a day. And we just spraying, and then go teach and come back and spray every day. And I did that. The gym looks amazing.
Yeah.
If I went back, I would probably do it, but it was a lot of work and a lot of money to just fling on the walls.
Yeah.
But when we opened up the new gym, we had enough members to be able to run this gym.
Yeah.
Okay. There really was a goal. My goal kind of on the backside was to get my wife working full time. But whenever we opened it up, I did not need to do this. But my thing is, if I'm sitting at the house and twiddling my thumbs and I'm doing absolutely nothing, so whatever that is, you need to have a little bit of downtime. But
Yes.
how about spending time with my family, and I'm not making money for my family, and I'm just sitting there watching TV? I'm not doing anything to better myself. So I went and made these little cards that were like little waiver for free class. And then I went and printed out stickers that were like some small stickers, and I stapled it to them. And I walked around, when we moved to the new location, I walked around 8 hours a day and just taped on people's, and I'm sorry if you got one in your gym, but it was in the back of the neighborhood. We had enough people, but I was like, if this does help us grow a little bit, great. If it doesn't, okay. But my mindset was, I was doing something.
Absolutely. Organic marketing.
Yeah. So I just went and I freaking 500 of them. Oh, God, there were so many houses in that neighborhood. But I sit there and just until I ran out more, and I got more. And I don't know if I got anything from that. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
And it could have been a grassroots thing where, like, they saw it and then later it showed up. They're like, you know what? I'm going to go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So those are small steps. When I open the gym, like, my thing is, like, a lot of people that sit there and complain about the business not being successful, but what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
You know,
What are you doing to change it?
Yeah. And it could be as simple as, like, you know, asking someone, hey, reaching out to people that have been members before, you know, calling people, different types of stuff. Luckily, I've never had to do a whole lot of cold calls, but if you text me, I will respond to you.
Yeah.
Like, some people are like, oh, is this automated? No, it's me. I've even before shit, I'll picture my face like, and that's another thing too. I don't know how long I'll be able to be that person, to be very personal with everyone at all times. But I'm doing a good job right now. We got a nice chunk of people at our gym, and it does get pissed off. I have people come in like, oh, the gym's too packed. I don't feel like I'm okay. There's plenty of other gyms out there. But there's a reason why the gym's packed.
Right.
It's simple. You know what I mean?
It's weird. Almost like people love it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you've created a good community, and I think a lot of that reflects back from your leadership of the gym and how you run things and operate it. So.
I try to work on myself as much as I can. We're all human. So there's one of those deals where we're gonna fail, but are we gonna fix the problem? We're gonna pick ourselves up and make things better, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And always growing. And I love what you said. Like, there are so many people who expect to open a business and then like people are just going to love it. Like they want what I have and they're just going to show up. And that's not the case. You have to get your name out there. You have to do things. And if you do have to reach out or look at other successful businesses, success leaves clues. So like get out there, do things. And even what you were doing, like those are things that add up over time. You know, it doesn't have to be something fancy. You don't have to spend thousands on Google. You can go and do just meeting people, being out in the community. So I love it.
Biggest key of, I think running a small business or, is not living outside of your means.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, you know, someone, whether you make $30,000 a year or you make $1 million a year, if you spend $1 million and 1 cent, you're not
going backwards.
Yeah, backwards. Yeah. So that's my biggest thought on it is like, you know, try to get your house paid off. Oh, no, you don't have to pay for a note. You know, cars paid off. You don't have to pay for a note.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are going to be, you know, are you going to plan on having a car? Or are you going to get a new car every 5 years?
Right.
Or those types of things. Like us, we're very big on me and my life. We were aligned on that. Like pay things off, get them done so that, you know, and, we did some things paid off in our backfield. And this is nothing talking about people that work for us. I brought all my coaches in and I gave them raises. And I said, I'm giving you a raise, not because we're just abundantly got money flying at us.
Right.
Not because you're the best coaches in the world and you're doing your job. I'm going to give you a raise because we did some on the backfield of things. We've got some things paid off in different deals where it loosened up money on the business a little bit more, where I don't need to be paying myself as much. So now I'm going to give it to you guys. Why? Because I want you guys to be successful. Okay. I'm not going to ask you to fill up the vending machine and do whatever and look at whatever. But if you did, it would be nice.
Love that. I love that you want to elevate other people. Have you thought about having your money work for you, like diversifying your income into other investments?
We do a little bit.
Okay.
I do have some people that do like a little investments here and there. We do, when I say investments, I'm good with money, but I'm not good with like knowing. And my thing is like, if I can make, some guys will put, you know, if they can put all their money here and then they can roll the dice and maybe get it back. Maybe they don't. I've always been a very much like, okay, put $50 on something very safe and just stack it up. Now, investments on a lot of things like, you know, I make a lot of merchandise.
Right. I like that.
Spend money into merchandise, you know, and, you know, there's always like a third man kind of whatever, but there's a lot of stuff that you can find overseas and different things. And if it's a good product. And
right.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, always trying to investing in different things, whether it's in gear wise to be able to make a little money on the side. Cause you got the gym, then you got private lessons and then
absolutely.
You got gear and then you got shirts and apparel and like all different types of stuff. I can get real quick into like making myself way more busy than I need to be. But then I'm pretty good at like, okay, and then shut it down. Like some people are like, you need to get an online store or whatever. I'm like, something else I gotta get up with. And I do spread myself out, then I can't be me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's part of the reason
you
why
want
the gym this way.
Know your capacity.
Yeah, that's something too that I'm always really, I have to remind myself of like, always gotta refill that cup. And something when I was growing up, like when I was younger, I remember a guy explaining, and he had like a little cup with Kool-Aid and it was half full and it was really bright red. Okay. And he had a big pitcher of water and he filled it up and he kept going, he kept talking. And he was telling about like giving out and doing this and being this person. And then next thing you know, that pitcher was, that cup was completely clear, been washed out by everything around them. They're not the same person anymore. Their heart's not the same anymore. They're not them
They're
anymore.
not as vibrant.
They're not as vibrant. There's nothing attractive there. There's nothing that's like, you have nothing to give back. So you always have to remember to like, just and refilling that cup. Right? And whether that looks like, we have a morning class, we have an evening class. The way we stack our classes, there's Coach Sonny. That is my dude. And it is Coach Sonny and Sammy. We answer to both. But we stagger our classes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not that I tell my coaches all the time, I don't need you to teach my classes. I want you to teach my classes. Why? Because if I teach every class, I won't be me. Same thing for you. If I have them teach every class, they won't be them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I teach one class, he teaches next class. So that he can revive himself. And there's a time, like, we have kids coaches. We have about 10 kids coaches on staff.
Mm-hmm.
It costs me a lot of money to do that, but I have kids and I know what I want how I want the kids' class to be. Mm-hmm. And I usually will go for a run during that time. For an hour long, I'll go run. Why? Because I'm not at the gym, and it gives me a second to rethink, kind of get life around and then when I come into the gym, I can teach my class right behind it. And it gives me a little bit of energy, I guess. And sometimes I just go to the house in between classes, and I'll just go up and freaking just lay in my bed and stare at the ceiling. About 30 minutes, recharge a little bit, recharge, and then I can go back to the gym.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask now the dad story.
Which one?
Oh, how he died.
Okay, so that was sad. My dad, he was actually in. You got a second for this one?
Yes.
Oh.
Tell me. I have to know. Like, it will sit in. It was like a little bomb in my brain. That's okay. Like, I need to know.
So my dad and Laura, they're entrepreneurs, and I've never told this story. So, my dad, whenever he was younger, he was into all kinds of things. And my dad was in the counterfeit. And so he actually got arrested and got pardoned. I forget which president it was, but got pardoned for it. He had life in prison for counterfeit. And so my dad actually got pardoned for it and got out. And he wound up going to a Bible college. They sponsored him. And he went to Bible college, had changed his whole life around and everything else. And went to Bible college and met my mom and everything else. And they were actually, the Bible college actually sponsored my family, which is the reason why we were in Thailand.
Yes.
As he went on, my dad, we came back and always wanted to go back to the field, and then work and life and kids and everything kind of went back into life a little bit. And life was like this, and I don't exactly know how it came across. I don't know, and I don't know all the both sides of this, but I was working full time, and I got a phone call from at work, and it said Secret Service on the caller ID.
What?
I was like,
Secret Service?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Neither did I. I would never assume it'd be that, just obvious, right?
So I picked it up and I was like, whatever the business, good afternoon, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, this is Agent So-so. Is Sammy Mongonia there? And I was like, yes. And he's like, your dad is deceased, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, click.
You were like, nah.
And then it rings.
My bank information.
Yeah, and then it rings right back. And I'm like, and now I'm just like, hello? And he's like, this is Agent So-and-so. Your dad has passed or is deceased, and we need you to come home to 8911 half LC Lane, or we're going to come pick you up at 6450 Skyview Drive. And I was like,
that's terrifying.
Okay. And so I hung up, and the next thing, my phone starts blowing up from my mom. She's calling me, and she's like, you need to come to the house. This is blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, so I get there, and it's, it's 15 minutes away. My brother's already there. There's 3 white minivans blacked out. They separate us, and they were like, hey, when you talk to you guys. And then my dad has always, I don't know if you guys ever watched a movie called Big Fish.
Yes, I love Big Fish.
Okay, so my dad always had these crazy stories about all different types of life, and this has happened and whatever. And I'm starting to see.
He's like the protagonist in Big Fish.
Yes. And I remember him telling me stories, and I would come home and my friends would just be chilling with my dad. Like, we always had people in and out of our house. My dad was always helping people. There was not a big, I mean, for me to just come home and my dad sitting there chilling with someone, with one of my friends, that was a normal thing for me. People living in our house was a normal thing for me my whole life. And so, whenever we got that phone call, went to the house, they separated us to kind of make sure the stories were straight. And, they were literally walked in there and they said, they whipped out a freaking binder of like stuff that in my dad's life. And I was like, all right. He's like, did you know that your dad was arrested for counterfeit and blah, blah. I was like, I did. But okay. And he's like, do you know anything about that? And I was like, no, not even a little bit. And he was like, well, your dad passed away. And my dad, my mom and my dad had worked together their whole lives, and my mom was with my dad longer than, she was without my dad. So whenever my dad passed away, it was like a very, life stops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
So my dad started going back and forth he started getting back into traveling. This is kind of like, but was traveling and, stepping back a little bit. He was traveling and he was getting into like currency exchange and different stuff. And I didn't ask questions. I don't ask questions. I'm freaking working full time. I'm out on my own.
Right. You have your own stuff.
Yeah. So stuff going on, paying my bills, doing whatever. I never asked. And my dad never really my dad was very affectionate. Okay. And my dad never went without telling me he loved me. I'll be 100% honest. I don't know if it's an Italian thing, whatever. I mean, I kissed my dad till the day he died. And I plan on doing that to my kids too, as well.
Yeah.
But he called me from at work and was like, hey, just want to let you know I'm getting back in the States, the next, whatever. I just want to say I love you, whatever, and talk for a little bit. And that was kind of out of the ordinary. And then he got back in town and then he called me the next day and said, hey, love you. And so then we hung up, and then a few days or a day later or so, a couple of days later, I guess, because he never spent any time without my dad, or my wife never spent any time without my dad. For him to spend the night at someone's house, that's not really a thing.
Right.
So we spent the night supposedly at someone's house, and he died. And they found his body, I guess they called him. I really don't know. They called him. They called ambulance, whatever, I guess. They found him, and then there was a suitcase of counterfeit money. That was, I don't know how much, but a full suitcase of it. And I don't know if it was the people he was dealing with. I don't know if he had anything to do with that. I would like to think he didn't. But it was one of them deals where, and my dad always had a lot of pain growing up because he worked hard jobs, broke his back, different stuff. And so I personally don't do anything. What I mean by that, I'm the most boring, interesting person you will ever meet. Okay. I've traveled the world. I've done all kinds of things, but I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't cuss. And if my guys at the gym think they hear something, like, I just, for me, I don't do those things. So, because I have an addictive personality, which can be a tool, or it can be something that can drive you into the ground.
Absolutely.
So if you have an addictive personality, that's great for a business to be able to run things and stuff like that. But you also got to know that's a gift, or it's something that can drive you into the ground. And it's drove my dad into the ground a lot. And that's why I have a hard time taking things that are helping my body feel better. Because once I start feeling good, and I won't get addicted to whatever's in front of me. So I don't allow myself to even go down that street. So anyways, my dad I remember always taking ibuprofen or different stuff, and maybe he was taking some pills he got overseas, because you can pretty much get anything and it's not regulated. So maybe he got something that was too strong or something of that nature. I don't know, but he wound up ODing. I didn't find that out till later. I don't know what the timing was. My mom, when she lost him, wound up losing everything. We lost the house. My mom had to go to she was always kind of a bigger lady, and she lost over 100 pounds, and she wound up having to go to a rehab, and she was in a rehab. And at that time, when she went into rehab, I'm coming back with this story. So, but when, she went to rehab, I basically was I lost my dad. I started training to try to keep my mind activated. And then, I didn't have my mom had to go to rehab for 12 months. And I did like mission stuff growing up and different stuff, but this time I was going through it. And so like my biggest thing is if you're going through something, the best thing to get yourself through something is help someone else out. That's just my kind of mindset. So I went up, quitting my job. I went on a world race, which was, I went to 18 countries actually for an entire year. Worked with orphanages, worked at, with churches. I worked with little like hospitals and different stuff while I was out there, and lived out of my backpack for a whole year. Then when my mom got released, I was back in that time, and I could start working full time again. Luckily, the business I was with was the same one who took me back on, which I worked for 15 years. But stepping back a little bit, I was at the house one day, and me and my brother moved back in to help my mom. And we moved back in, and I was sitting there one day, and I was in the I was sitting there, and there's a couch, and a lot of my dad's passwords for things were usually going to be my birthday. And I looked over the suitcase, picked up the suitcase, set it there, put my birthday in, opened it up, closed it back, locked it, walked downstairs. I was like, "Hey, bro, can you come outside?" He was like, "What's up?" I was like, "I need to talk to you about something." He was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Just come outside." And I walked outside and opened it up, and it was the prints they were looking for counterfeit. So I took that, and there was a burn barrel we had, and I lit it on fire, and I just burned it. So that was, that was one of those I never really talked about, because it was one of those things where
celebrating the entrepreneurs who are shaping our city. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone building their own dream. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep hustling.
But I do know that my dad was a great person. I love my dad to death, and he would always try to work hard to make things work. You know what I mean? Well, he's surrounded by people that might be those, maybe have set him up. I have no clue. It is crazy to me that they were looking for something in our place. There's a suitcase sitting right there that didn't get found. So it's kind of one of those, like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, some people say I should write a book, but
yeah,
that's for sure.
You should.
Yeah,
That's insane.
it's probably way longer than we meant to be.
No, that was really cool. I bet that Secret Service guy, when you like hung up, was like,
That's right. Well, they're going to see this video.
He's probably watching this now. Anyways.
that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't see that one coming, huh?
Let me see if I. Yeah, no, that was it's a good story though. I did not expect.
Can't make that up. Was that good?
That's something you'd watch in a movie.
That's the
right?
Cliff Notes too. Yeah, that's the Cliff Notes.
So for our listeners, how can they reach you?
You guys are anyone that wants to reach me, I mean, you can Google Sammy's Muay Thai.
Mhm.
It'll pop up. Social media, I stay pretty active on there, and my wife keeps track of it too a little bit. But anytime, like people are looking for three things in life, and it's literally going to be mentally, physically, and spiritually. And if you don't have those three things, I was telling you that earlier. If you don't have those three things, you'll never be aligned in life. I'm never going to push my beliefs on people, but I don't care who you are. There's a reason why we're here. It's just that simple. There is a reason. And I do challenge people to really go after that and really try to seek after that. And I feel like I know the truth of what's in my heart and knowing what's in my family's heart. But I do challenge people to like, go for it. And if you feel uncomfortable in your body, do something about it. And that's, like I said, that's something you got to stay active and be able to like, I want to live a long time, and I want to be able to throw a football and play with my kids for a long time. And a lot of people, when they have kids, I just messaged a few guys the other day, and some guys got kids on the way, and I told them, like, you don't have to hang up life because you have kids. You just got to want it more. That's it. This last fight, my kids have only ever seen me fight a couple of times, and they got to walk out with me when I got to fight. You know what I mean? So it's, those moments.
Don't remember that.
Yep. And I'll always remember that. You know what I mean? So I personally, I feel like our goal as humans is, some people, they say that what can I do as one person to make this world different? And if we all had the mindset, as one person can make this world different, you can. But my personal, I want to leave this place better than when I found it. That's literally just kind of my goal. Like, in life. Will I be able to do that? Maybe not. I don't know. But I know in that time and place, I'm not living my life where people are just going to miss me when that time comes. But like, they'll like, dang, maybe they'll pick up where I left off. You know what I mean? And see why I kind of do what I do.
I love the legacy. That's great. All right. Well, we will link all of that stuff in the show notes too, so people can reach out to you. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes,
And I will see you guys next week. You've been listening to Houston Hustle, celebrating the entrepreneurs who are shaping our city. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone building their own dream. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep hustling.